Mike, because I mean, I'm looking through this, so, I mean, it's a ton of data and all that, but, so a couple of questions immediately come to mind for me. I mean, this is me,
Okay.
with my background, so, how do we take all the data, turn it into actionable information? Okay, I mean, so there's comparisons, and I'll be honest, I've looked at a lot of the benchmark comparisons in the 2 years since I've been here and trying to glean from that what, either tactical or strategic actions do we take from that. I in truth, really struggled with that. So the comparison is great, but how do we turn that data into information that we can use to help make things better? I'll just say simplistically. And that's kind of the question I'll ask, and it's meant to be an open-ended question. And I've got some ideas, but I'll just toss it out there and we can discuss
And,
it.
the short answer is, if this were the only moving point in the equation, I could give you a very defined answer.
Right.
And the one thing, kind of like the counselor example I just gave, the one thing we have to be cognizant of, even if our ratio is very favorable right now compared to peer districts, if we constrict too quickly or we reduce too quickly, and now we're less favorable than all peer districts, we know we're in a market environment. So we have to maintain vibrant programs, vibrant electives, our career tech ed, our music, our arts, our athletics. All these things need support. And so it's not just a numbers game. It's not about just reducing employees to balance the books. We have to maintain support for all the excellent programs we have, while taking into consideration where are those opportunities that we can look for efficiency. So that balancing act is that marketability is that second moving piece that's a little more challenging to wrap your head around. We know the district, just from looking at where we were many years ago with 24,000 kids and now 6,700, the downward trajectory has been, except for Lincoln Park and maybe some other little blips along the way, not Lincoln Park, excuse me, Inkster, that's what I was referring to, except for that Inkster closure when we picked up almost 400 kids. The trajectory is downward, and so losing 260, 280 kids a year at 2.4 million, when you look at the number of kids we've been losing over the last 5 years, we're losing about 4% of the total. So if you think about where we were last year to where we are now, we're less 4% of the kids. And the sheer numbers side of the equation is, did we reduce 4% of the cost? Did we reduce 4% of the staff? Did we reduce 4% of the expense? And the simple answer is we did not. And so, not to say you always should reduce the same percent of staff as you do students, but the real issue is the marketability, the enhancing the programs, and retaining all the students we have, and looking for those creative ways to encourage students to select the Taylor district from our peers, all the while being as efficient as we can. So,
If I might, we might be losing net 4%, but we're losing more than that in students and gaining with the open enrollment. So that 4% is not a true number of the students that we're losing.
thank you. So we have a greater number departing. However, we do have some coming in open enrollment. And just for the record, when I arrived in June, I looked at that number. I had Dan pull that number. When I came this summer, we had 3,900 students residing in Taylor who elect to go somewhere else. We have 538 who reside outside of Taylor who elect to come in. So that's a 1 to 8 imbalance in the wrong direction. 3,900 kids is a significant number of kids. And in part, we have some issues. If you look backwards 5-10 years at the economy, we have issues with, certainly multiple charter options here in the district. But we also have the opportunity to market our programs and really build that capacity by having things that are innovative and cutting edge. So none of this is a quick fix, 1 year turnaround, but it's all part of that discussion.
We also have to look at, over the years, I know I've asked and other people have asked, what are delayed confusion, delayed technology, and delayed curriculum costs that are out there. So this is a snapshot of where we're at, but it's not need-based. We have a huge need in Taylor. We passed the city millage, so we're working on fixing our buildings. But I think we need to prioritize delayed maintenance, delayed technology, and delayed curriculums list, so that when we're asked to prioritize and make decisions, it's based on factual data with numbers behind it, rather than saying, I think we'll save this much if we do this. So if we have a list, those areas and other areas that, you think are a priority, the board needs to know that. So that we can make better decisions, and it's not just us sitting here for a one-time presentation and going, how does that fit into the big picture? So we need more of we're supposed to be the big picture people.
Correct.
And all the departments in the buildings have their areas and parents and students, but people that sit at this table are supposed to see the big picture, and that piece is missing from this. And
That piece is not here, you're right.
we repeatedly asked for that, and to no fault of anybody sitting here. So I just think that that's a big piece of the picture that we've been missing. And if we're going to turn this ship around and make it right, we are going to need to know what the true needs of the district are, and what's the true vision, what's the true, I hate to use strategic plan because that's overused, but what do we want our district to look like? And then what procedures and steps do we take to get there?
Exactly right. Well, and to that point, significant work, has been going on behind the scenes. Mary Ann and School Improvement, state and federal folks, all the administrators, the tech committee, taking a look not only at instructional tech, but necessary curricular investments, whether it's ELA or Math Series or K-3 Chromebooks or iPads. So having, when you don't have money, you can't fix something that's broken. So you find a workaround. And, in a moment, when we get down to other one, I'll share, some more specifics there that deals, with Kennedy or with SGA. But just globally, now that we do have some money, it isn't enough to satisfy all the needs we have. But it is about, if you look at the next 5 years, if you were to do something as simplistic as split 1.15 million into thirds, you have about $380,000 per third. So if you wanted to look at it that way, $380,000 for roofs, boilers, and facilities and infrastructure, $380,000 for instructional tech and instructional needs, and then $380,000 for transportation. So Steve has worked up a proposal for me for a rolled sequence purchasing of buses. He has put together a 3-year plan. I've asked him also to put together a 5-year plan that spreads out the investments so you don't have buses aging out all at the same time. The same work is going on with instructional technology, and the same work is going on, with Leanne and Thor. We have a priority list of the buildings leaking the fastest and the most, all the way down to the ones that need the heat and the pipes upgrades, the entryways, security upgrades, windows, so forth. So we're going to have more needs than we have funds, but some of those things are paramount things that deal with safety and the workplace environment for our students and staff, so those things really can't be ignored. And some of the things are really the things that we need to invest in as a district that we haven't had the funds to do for many, many years, and those are the innovative things like instructional tech pieces and the underpinnings of a true base for our kids, especially our lower L and upper L kids, to come in and establish that technology readiness background so they're really ready to be the learners of tomorrow. So, all that said, we still are going to have more needs than funds, but we will have plans to address the needs of our kids today as well as tomorrow, hopefully here in the near future. I know certainly from the bus and the maintenance side, we're only a few weeks out from having some pretty clear and concise priority lists of what's first, what's second, what's third. From the instructional tech piece, that research certainly is ongoing, but I know they've made great headway as well. So.
open-ended question from my part, so let me just comment as I was going through this. I mean, whenever you look at benchmark analyses, you're always faced with the, okay, we're at X percentage to our peer groups. What do we do about that? I'm just, so in general, what I've done in my profession, I was just Pareto analysis. So, I mean, we know that there's going to be 80% of the fundamental problems are going to come from 20% of the root issues. So what I would suggest is where we see, strong divergences that are concerns, that we kind of just, dig in on any one of those. And honestly, we could take any particular line. And I'm not going to grab one here for this discussion, but when you look at it, any particular topic where we look at, it should raise the eyebrow. I mean, if we're within X percent, or we feel based on a gut sense, without even running the numbers, that, okay, our FTE is here versus this district, our ratio is here, I think we all intrinsically understand, right? I mean,
Right.
Okay, that's reasonable. This one is a red flag. That one's a red flag. What is it we're doing? I mean, let's be honest, implicitly, the statement is that there's something we're doing that isn't as either efficient or in line with somebody else, right? But our processes could be wildly different for a lot of reasons. So what I would suggest is just, as we're moving through this, and I'm not saying we need to do this right now, but as we go through this process, that we have that eye out. You could probably, knowing off the top of your head, you probably already have that list of the top X number of issues that maybe just based on the numbers would warrant some deeper exploration.